Now, we are very aware of the noticeable things that our tech team is still working hard on. So rest assured, this is not our final version, but we're going to have a lot of improvements, and there's going to be another update deployment coming up next week. And when that update comes, I'll hear that from the tech team, and we'll give you guys another update, maybe another live stream as well. So if you first open your app, you will see this, Kumiho.ai, which is our software. It's pretty basic. So sign up procedure, simple, email, username, password, age, you can create your account. We also have a function that our tech team has added in where you can reset your password, send it to your email, and you can get the instructions there. So let me just first log in. Sorry for my name, it's Obese Tinky Winky. Yeah, it's a fat Tinky Winky.
Whoa.
And there's our 3D model agent on the right side.
Whoa.
Now on
I'm
the
sorry,
past,
Kuro.
let me
Did
show.
Ray just give a date?
What date?
Did he just do that?
Did he actually? Oh, he said it.
He
V1
said
is
it.
out in like 2 weeks, everyone. So
Oh,
that's another
literally
update that we
on the
didn't know.
Fucking edge. Okay, I mean, you're CEO, I can't stop you, but holy shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro.
But yeah,
on.
if you see our previous version, you know we had the blue rabbit image there, but now our tech team has worked hard to integrate our 3D version right here, which is quite nice. Now, it's pretty simple where you have your profile photo. This can be updated. You can change your agent name and bio. I love chicken nuggets, of course. Now, this is the energy bar in which I have over 400,000 because this is just a test version. And a normal mode is where it consumes 1.5 energy per word. Supercharged mode is where it consumes 3 energy per word. So this is where you can change between normal and supercharged. Now, since this is a demo version, I think we'll just be working on the supercharged version. I don't think I can show you the different styles of it. But the main differences between a normal and a supercharged would be just consider it as something more powerful and intelligent version of your agent. It'll be able to process and understand more complex instructions, requests, and your own questions. Just in summary, it can learn and adapt more quickly and can better understand your requests over time. So we're trying to aim towards something where your agent can actually tailor to your own responses. And overlaid mode, it's unavailable at the moment, but later on, what's going to happen is, imagine if you're working on something, you're browsing YouTube, or you're just working on something else, and you also want to have this application open. Now, it's quite annoying where you have to minimize the full application and you can change back to that and come back to this. So once you click it, imagine if your whole application changes into brown. You can place it on the top left side or the bottom right side. It's a more convenient version where you can access it, so it doesn't really disrupt your other work as well. Now, home version, this is where you can change your notes or the title of the chat. Now, agents, this is where you can create your agents. So my one is called the Sandwich Maker. Now, this version doesn't have much assets at the moment, but what you can see is if we want to take out the hair, she becomes bald. I prefer a long hairstyle. What about you guys? I did ask the tech team with different hairstyles, but it's gonna come in soon as well. Top inner, top outer. So we're definitely gonna have different assets for topper, feet, footwear, bottom. So this is the place where you can actually customize your own agent, try out different clothing and everything like that. Inventory is the place where you will be able to see all your clothing that you own. So for now, clothing items, whoops, okay, just try ignore these R18 plus stuff. You can unequip the clothes, and this is where you can customize your agent as well. I think that the next improvement we'll definitely change the names, because we don't want to see like Cortec and with all these like different code numbers. So we'll definitely have specific names towards specific clothings. So that's what we're also working on from the tech side. Store is where the new closes come out, and this is where you can purchase it. So at the moment, I just have 55 frags here. Let's say if I want to purchase, I don't know, say this one, if it works. If I purchase it, and I can view an inventory. Now, if I go on inventory, clothing I see would be here. If I click equip, it would change to unequip. There we go. If I go back to my agent, she reloads, and the clothing comes out here as well. And then clothing items, loot boxes, room items, energy units. This is where you can purchase different energy units to refill or recharge for the work that you want to do. Now you can ignore the values here because it's not finalized yet, but you can kind of see the idea what you will expect for our final product here. Different plans as well in which our team is working on to finalize. Account management, FAQs, settings option. Now there was one thing that I did request, that were sound options. That's what we're also working on. So imagine where you can change your music backgrounds and everything like that. But for now, that's pretty much the main points we have. Now we want this Townhall to be like a discussion where you can ask questions and everything here. Bitsu is saying, why are the batteries so expensive? Yeah. So don't worry, they're not finalized values. Agents. So I think like a noticeable improvement in my opinion would be like, let's start with the small things would be, I'm a person who likes light and dark mode. And this light mode here, it's quite nice, but imagine if it was like something gray or something that matches the color to the left side. Or that's one of them for me personally. And another one would be clothing items or store. Yeah, if you go to the storefront, I would, you know how like she's standing like in a starfish pose. So maybe if we could change the pose of the agent showing the different clothing, or if we could take out the models and just show the clothing itself in like a spiraling animation or something, you know? It's kind of like what do you say? If you played Crash Bandicoot, if you see all those crystals, you can see the clothing. So that way you can see the clothing that you want to purchase front to back and from all sides. But yeah, if there's any other questions, you can ask the team. You can
remember to ping me as well in case I miss anything. Okay, so let's cover off the plans. We will have a free plan. That's to onboard users. Remember, this is going out to mass market. We'll have paid subscription plans as well. And there will be 2 tiers that you can see there. We have Plus and Premium. Obviously, the prices need to be adjusted, but that's easy for us to do. Plus and Premium will not be the same price. And the difference is, free gives you 5,000 energy units to use the chat mode on a basic version. So basic means that it's using the power of ChatGPT 3.5, and it does everything you need it to do just as a casual user. Now, on the Plus and Premium plans, you get unlimited usage of that basic function, and you get lots of energy units that you can put towards using the supercharged function. So Kuro, if you go to home, can you show the toggle for supercharged chat? We have that in this version?
Yeah.
There you go.
This one.
Yeah. So you just change that and everything else is the same. You just type your message into that box. Now supercharged uses a combination of ChatGPT 3.5 and DaVinci, I believe, to give you a more professional outcome. So I think Ray or Bushido, if you want to chime in on the detailed differences between like professional outputs and normal outputs, that would be amazing. Because I'm a free user of ChatGPT, so I actually haven't experienced the professional answers myself.
It's less about professional or not professional. It's just like each model is each model that is out there is good at different things. So there are some models that are pretty good at conversations and they're quite creative with their responses, but they're pretty bad when it comes to like performing other functions. For example, like researching or like summarizing text and things like that, right? So more practical uses of like things that are not conversational by nature. We find that it's probably better to use different models for those things. So anything that's work related. So like, for example, if you're a marketer, you say like, you know, brainstorm 10 marketing ideas for me for like a new vape company, right? Some of the conversational models wouldn't be so good at that because they might be good at holding a conversation with you and talking to you and chatting, but they're not really good at, you know, the work applications. Similarly, if you're a uni student and you want it to write an essay for you, to provide references or like do some research tasks for you, a conversational model is not really gonna well, it could probably still do some of that, but it's not the ideal tool. So you know, like we think having a work and play mode that kind of separates the functions as a toggle is probably the best way to do it. So that if you just want to chat, then you can use the work. You can just use the play mode and just chat. And then if you're working, then you know you'll have a different mode for that. And if you look at the screen, there's like an option to save these chat logs. So like say like you're a user of ChatGPT or you're a user of like these existing AI platforms, you would find that sometimes you're doing some work and you're like, oh, hey, brainstorm these ideas for me. What we want to do is we want to be able to let our users save those notes really quickly. So like you can co-write a tweet with your AI, or you can co-write an article with your AI, and then you know you have to move on and then you have to do something else. You can quickly save that file. So that you're able to access the stuff later on, right? So and I think it's pretty important to say that we've got other functions and features that we want to bring out in the future that will leverage these note takes, these notes that people take, you know, via annotations and via like edits and other kind of like systems where we find, at least I personally find that, you know, using ChatGPT is nice, but also like, you know, having to copy paste the response into like a Word doc or a Google doc and then further editing it in those mediums is like is a little bit inconvenient. So the note-taking experience I think is pretty important, not just for students but for like, you know, any work-related purposes. So we've kind of split it up into different modes. Yeah.
Nice, thank you. Yeah, so I think on top of just the wrapping like ChatGPT, we have the personality modules. So the point is for it to be more personable, more lovable, and more usable. And on the usability front, I think that overlay function is a game changer. Like for me personally, I've made the switch from ChatGPT to Google Bard in my daily life, simply because Google Bard logs me out less. Like I'm that lazy. Like I don't even use these functions to do like Google searches because I you know, like if I want to search what's a synonym for the word like fantastic, you know, I just don't like to have to click into my browser amongst the like 10 million browsers that I have open. I want to be able to use it all on just one screen. I'm also on my laptop a lot, which it's even harder to toggle between stuff. I don't have multiple screens. So yeah, overlay function, game changer for me. And I think there's a lot to be said for usability. It's not like don't bother making these things just because the technology already exists. Everyday people don't care about the technology. Everyday people care about aesthetics. They care about how a product or service makes you feel. It's like the difference between, you know, Linux and Apple. Leave Linux up to the pros, and Apple is like, even your grandma can use it. That's what we're going for.
For PXN system. So it's not exactly you can just rip it out and use it immediately without any you still have to tailor it quite a bit. So I think building something from scratch that makes sense for Nano is probably easier. Yeah.
Okay. Next question, community wallet, 75% of royalties, how those funds benefit the holders. So I've spoken about this in chat before. Community wallet is being used to pay staff who are making assets for the black boxes and for whatever you can claim from bits as well. So, and of course, like mods and anything that goes towards community, that's always been the case. But more recently, instead of pumping and dumping other NFT floors, which I appreciate, that would be good short term for the holders, but is detrimental long term for this project. If we're not creating something that can be used in the ecosystem and benefit the ecosystem, then we're doing it wrong, especially in light of the market conditions where we're seeing a lot of other projects sadly fail and run out of funds and walk away. We don't want that to happen to us. Yeah, so it's artists, modelers, riggers who are creating special assets that you have not seen in the NFT collection, and that will not be available to mass market users. Last one, the arcade. What's happening?
I'll take this one. Oh yeah, I'll take this one, Pants. So for the arcade, right? I think there's a couple of things we can consider here, right? So the arcade was originally going to be something that we thought we could launch and we could like put together, and we can have like a sync for tokens, and also like if we were able to open it up to the public, then we would have like a public demand for frags, right? Because if I wasn't a holder and I wanted to play these arcade games, then I would have to like buy the frags off one of our holders to then go and play the games, right? That was the original intention, but like, I think, I mean, we have to kind of be quite realistic about like what we find, or like what we think is the most important things for us to build right now, because there's a limited amount of resources, and it's always been the case, right? As I'm not saying this is something new, but like I think we have to make a decision in terms of what we think would be which product we think we should bet our chips on. I think that's the way I think about it. It's like, for me, Nano has always been about this piece of software that we want to build, and we want to kind of take it to the mass market, to like normal consumers, not just the NFT people that we're that we're kind of marketing and selling collections to. So I think this piece of software is kind of like the central point of Nano, where like if this piece of software does well, and everything else is good, right? But if we can't even get the core piece of software out, it's kind of like a waste of time if we spend money and resources elsewhere and delay the actual the desktop AI that is the core thing. So if we build other things, it takes away the focus and also like the resources that's required to push the main thing out. So it's kind of like, it's not like I don't want to do the arcade, and it's like not like I don't want to do some of the other cool stuff that we had planned. It's just that I think with the way that the mint went, and the way we had to pivot and get funding elsewhere for the company, we just have to prioritize getting the main product out and actually getting some adoption there. Because once we have users there, and if we start generating revenue, it makes our jobs, as founders and also as like the core team, a little bit easier, because we know like, okay, we've got the core piece of software, we're improving on it, and we can see the user base growth. Now what else can we do to kind of sweeten the deal? So like it's harsh to say, but I think it's just like a bit of a wake up call for us in terms of like, I think we have to prioritize what's the most important. But I do think not communicating that the arcade has been deprioritized is probably like, that's probably on us. Like, I mean, I probably should have thought that, you know, this stuff should be discussed with you guys as well and made available in announcements. But I mean,
Yeah, I think I mean, the backstory of the arcades was that obviously it was never like in Nano's plans. That was under Ray's directive to create something that would provide short-term utility and benefits to the holders while we were waiting on the delayed Nano Mint. And I mean, to be blunt, at the time, I guess we felt that the tech team had readied everything for Mint and for the release of the desktop app and the VTubing and everything. And we didn't want them twiddling their thumbs, doing nothing. We also didn't want to like fire great staff and only hire them back when we needed them. That's not how you run a company. So we put them to work making the arcade. But I guess we came back at the time of Mint and realized there was a lot of work that had to be improved on or redone. I mean, this version of the desktop app, Ray, like how much of it would you say had to be made from scratch, and how much of the original version was salvageable?
Like almost 100% made from scratch from early this year. So yeah, it's like there's not a lot of stuff in the old version that we could keep, in all honesty. So this application that you guys see right now has like a lot of stuff that we thought about, like in terms of like what do we want from this desktop app, because you guys know like the AI space changes so damn fast. Like, you know, like now you can say like, oh, GPT is like the king, like, you know, that's like ChatGPT is like the shizzle, right? That's the thing that everybody goes for. But like, you know, ChatGPT 3.5 came out, and now ChatGPT 4 is out. Then you've got Google Bard, right? You've got all these different platforms and all these different models that are coming out all the time, and it's just like we don't like previously if we were building something, right, and we trained our own model and we trained one model only. What happens when there's new and better models that come out? So in order to address that, we've built this as more of like a system where like we can replace the AI models, and we can kind of like you can consider them more as like puzzle pieces. So we can take it apart and we can put new models back in, and we can plug new things in. So a lot of these things we kind of had to redesign from scratch. And also, like, I'll be quite blunt as well. The whole the Nano Arcade situation came about because this is what I personally think, right? I personally believe that because whitelist sucked ass for like quite a while, like after I think like maybe after May of last year, whitelist started sucking. Like all the projects that were coming out at those times were like either flops, they didn't mint out, or they were like they were just not super hyped project, right? So we were suffering in a bear market where like we didn't have a lot of whitelists to kind of entice people. The answer here is like, you know, we decided to deprioritize it, and I think the community should have been made aware.